Hi everyone and welcome to this new video. As some of you may know, last year I went to visit Bangkok, and while I was there I got to visit the Queen Sirikit museum, which is within the Grand Palace, and they hold all of her clothes there from the 1960s up to the turn of this century. And they were amazing to see and really inspiring. And while I was there, I also purchased quite a large amount of Thai silk. And so for this, I've decided to combine the two and make a dress that was worn by Queen Sirikit in 1960. And this was designed by the Parisian designer Pierre Balmain. And he worked with Queen Sirikit for 20 years making her clothes, both for functions and privately. And these were a combination of Western style dress, fashion, Paris fashion, but made in traditional Thai fabrics. And this was a good way for her to combine her love of fashion and also a product from her native country, which she was supporting. She was also a great style icon of her time, particularly in the 1960s, and she is very comparable to Jacqueline Kennedy in her style and being that fashion icon. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll see you at the end with the completed dress. The fabric I'm using for this dress has a border print that runs along one side along the selvage, and for the placing of the pattern on the dress that I'm doing, I want this to be the centre front of the skirt. And so before I cut the skirt, I need to join two pieces, and I'm going to join it here so that then I can cut the skirt with this being the centre front of the skirt panel. I start by joining two lengths of the fabric together where I need the pattern to join. Next, I cut out the skirt backing fabric out of a silk organza. I use the organza as my pattern to cut out the main fabric. I machine in the darts and sew all the skirt seams together. Here I am cutting out the hanging panels in pink silk. These are also lined with the organza fabric. I sew the silk and organza layers together and then turn them through and gather along the top. I then move on to cutting out the bodice backing fabric in a white cotton. Then I machine all the bodice seams together. Here I've prepared the top of the front bodice, ready to start constructing it. I've tacked it around the neck edge because it needs to be flat all the way around, and there's no side seam within this top layer of fabric, so it has to carry on all the way around. And then I've pinned out the darts at the front to take out the shaping. So the next job is to mark the darts and then sew these into the fabric. I've cut out the shoulder straps and I've ironed in all the edges and the seam allowance, and then I'm going to hand stitch this down rather than machining it, because I wanted a very specific part of the pattern in the fabric to be on the outside of the stripe. I sew the strips using a very tiny slip stitch. Here you see me draping the rest of the bodice in the pink silk. I finished the neck edge with a bias binding made out of the pink silk and sew it by hand to the inside of the bodice. The next step is to sew the bodice and skirt together at the waist seam. Finally, I make the bow that goes on the back of the bodice on the waistband. And here we have the finished dress. I'm happy with how she's turned out, and I hope you enjoy seeing her finished. It's a really elegant design, and I think it is something that you could probably wear today. And I've loved the challenge of working out how to work with this fabric and putting the pattern placement where it needed to go for the design. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to support me, you can click on the super thanks below the screen or subscribe to my Patreon, which I will leave a link to in the description below. And I'll see you all again next month with a new video.